guys, it's Jonah here, back with another beer review, and I thought I'd done them all, but I've got one more in the Hobgoblin beer review series, something like that. And if you look up there, you've got three, and I reckon it's one of these two, one of the lighter beers. So I'm gonna whip that out in a minute. Look at this. This is pretty cool. Whether you like Hobgoblin or not, whether you like Carlsberg or Marsden or Witchwood, I think the branding is pretty cool. Look, got a shiny thing on there, nice things on the inside, and the glass. I'm going to put that packaging over there. Is pretty damn cool. Now, I think I got this a while ago because if you look at the actual branding, he's holding his axe. Here we go. It's actually focused. This guy is holding an axe, right? Remember that. So I better put this down because, ding, ding, ding. In the new branding, the Carlsberg branding, he is holding an axe, but he's got it over his shoulder. And if you see, he's holding a hop in his hand, and that is a sort of blue color. This is the original IPA, it says, and it's all in blue, which is cool. I like the way they color coded them. Insanely hoppy, blah blah blah, and the top itself is blue, and there you go. You got the old knob gobbler on that bad boy. But I think that's quite cool. So the branding has changed from just having this chap with the, as you saw before, just holding his axe. He's not holding a hop in that one, which is the bit I was trying to get across to you. It's been a bit of a manic start to this one. I've got my blade here. I'm going to whip this bad boy open. I've got some information. No smoke on that one. Right, I'm running out of space. Let me put that over that side. We'll get this bad boy into my hobgobbler glass, my knob gobbler, as I've been saying. Try and force a little bit of the head on here, because this is a 500, and the glass itself should be a pint glass, which is interesting. Somebody said to me the other day that you can't serve a 500 measure in a pub. It has to be a pint. I was like, that sounds really weird. So what you have to do, if you're buying bottles, you have to serve the bottle and then give the customer a glass. You can't pour the beer in the glass and then serve the poured glass. I don't know, man. That sounds a bit funny to me. But anyway, that is what a reliable source told me. Don't know how reliable. Right, let's go over there. Oh, was my head in that one? I put my head the wrong way. Right, Hobgoblin. That way, and then look at it. Oh, the perils of reviewing beers, eh, dear viewer? Yeah, not much head, and it's fast disappearing. The carbonation is pretty reasonable. It's nothing amazing, but it's pretty good. Superbly clear through the hobgoblet. Actually, this is not the hobgoblet, but it's yeah, it's my other hobgoblin glass, which is kind of cool. Lovely jubbly. Oh, do we have any blurb on here? Yes, we do. Right, let me hold that up to you, and then I will try my best, if it focuses, that is, to read what it has to say. There we go. An IPA with legendary status, forged from the finest hops, famed for its taste explosions of hops, grapefruit and honey, leaving a juicy bitterness to finish. That's why it's called IPA, Iconic Pale Ale. But you already knew that, right? Yeah, I don't know about that, my dude. That sounds like marketing BS to me. Doesn't actually say much info on that bad boy at all. But in doing my research, this is actually a Triple-C hop combination, which makes it a West Coast. It's Chinook, Cascade, and Citra. So Triple-C West Coast style IPA, absolutely nuts. And what's the ABV? Sorry, dear viewer, it is 5% on the ABV. Not in focus, but you don't care about such matters, such tomfoolery. It is really fruity. Got that orange, got that peachiness, citrus, obviously, a little bit of tropicaliness too. But it is a kind of, yeah, it's more a West Coast style than an East Coast. And no, not even a suggestion of any oats or wheat in this bad boy. Let's dive in, see what we get. Cheers and beers. Nice hot bitterness up front. It's not superbly bitter. But yeah, this is a proper old school IPA. This isn't all about kind of mad tropical fruits and cream and all that kind of nonsense. No, this is kind of sharp. It hits you with that bitterness. Yeah, I'm sure there is a nice balance in the malts too, but this one's all about the bitterness. It's not a sweet beer, this one. Um, nice and refreshing. This is kind of, I reckon the market would be to tempt, or this style is to tempt lager boys, or that's what Witchwood's original kind of thing was, to try and tempt lager boys away from the lagers and drink something a bit more substantial. Considering this is brewed by Carlsberg, one of the biggest macro lager companies in the world, basically, that's a bit ironic because maybe they're stealing customers from themselves. That would be a weird thing. Or maybe it's to try and keep them in the family. Yeah, if you're selling things, you'd rather have someone go, oh, I have a lager, oh, I'll try one of these IPAs, oh, and back onto the lager again, as opposed to leaving, drinking something one of your competitors has made, perhaps. So yeah, I think it is a canny kind of thing, and because they now own the Hobgoblin brand, we will see where it goes, dear viewer. But at the moment, they're trying to keep things running. I wonder if they're going to kind of phase it out. Hopefully not, because Hobgoblin as a brand is damn amazing. They are a marketing dream, especially this time of year. Maybe not so much for the IPA, but hey. Oh, there's a bit of carbon dioxide absorbed because I've had it in the fridge for a few days. Um, yeah, I mean it is a bit macro, shall we say? It's not bottle conditioned. This is not a live beer. This is pasteurized, etc., etc. Maybe it's got some kind of things in there to kind of clean it up. And then I wouldn't be surprised if this was force carbonated before putting into the bottle to keep it nice and fizzy. Although the head is not massive by any means. Um, But yeah, I am actually quite liking this beer. This is like the IPAs of old, and when I say old, I kind of mean not even the 90s, the IPAs kind of started coming over. The new style ones, the American style ones, started coming over, I guess, late 90s, early noughties. And there were IPAs in the UK, along with golden ales. I think from my kind of early drinking, IPAs and especially heavily hopped ones, very bitter ones, kind of linked in with golden ales to some degree. Although for me, golden ales were a little bit stronger and IPAs were a little bit weaker, which is weird because nowadays, obviously, strong ones, double IPAs and triple IPAs, quadruple IPAs exist, I think. So yeah, they're the strong ones, and the old golden ales are going the other way and going a bit light. But for me, yeah, around 5%, not too bad, and then a golden ale's probably 6%ish, something along those lines. Oh, but a lot of bitterness. And obviously, traditionally, the IPAs were reasonably heavily hopped, so they keep a long time. And then if they're sailing off to the new world, perhaps. But I think that's just because the other beers that were around at the time were kind of brown ales and sweeter beers. And because they had the sugars in, they wouldn't survive the journey. The addition of the hops, did it help? It helped, but it was just a new kind of style that was coming out at the time, the fashion, if you like. Yeah, nice. I am actually enjoying this. It is quite refreshing. It's more of a summer drink, I suspect, than a winter drink. Oh, look, there's the old hobgobbler there. But also, have a look. There is some lacing stuck on the side of the glass. Not much. It's not a proper lace monster. Um, but I guess that's because in clearing the beer, they're dropping some of the things out, which helps with things like lacing and head retention, protein count, etc., etc. So you can't have both things really. You can't have a super filtered beer and then still have the same level of head or head retention. Oh, that's why some beers, or getting a clear beer, a crystal clear beer, that also has a nice head and nice lacing, really difficult to do. And modern breweries, they don't practice these dark arts anymore, unfortunately. Um, it's a real shame. The industry is kind of, well, I mean, it's always been about money. Everything's about money. Um, but there was, for a time in British brewing especially, a sort of art to it. Um, whereas now it's more borderline a chemistry experiment. I've heard of a brewery. I was talking to someone the other night, and they basically said that this brewer, and I won't say who it is or what brewer it is, but it's a local one to here. He doesn't drink beer. So the brewer does not drink beer. He likes wine. And I was thinking, how how do you do quality control in the brewery then? And he's more of a chemist. He's a chemist by trade. Um, and yeah, it makes me very sad. If I had a brewery, I'd definitely be tasting myself. I would be giving away a lot of beer as well, like I used to when I was doing my home brewing, and hopefully that will return too. But yeah, how bizarre is that? A brewer that doesn't drink beer. Oh, it's interesting. It's a citrus kind of taste, but I think because of that cascade in there, obviously we've got Citra Cascade. What was the other one? Chinook. Um, Citrus predominantly that kind of grassy green hedgerowy thing, and that's in there. Cascade, we're looking, I always say it's like a peach, but I would probably go peach, maybe citrus orange, that type of, on that side. And Chinook is another one that's another kind of green, kind of verdanty type hop. Yeah, interesting. Maybe there's more bitter kind of stuff like I don't know, zesty or pithy, grapefruity, that kind of thing. Yeah, maybe that's coming from the Chinook. I can't remember about Chinook. Been a while. I mean, Chinook comes up every now and then, but Cascade and Citra, yeah, I definitely know those. Mm. Oh, there we go. Another beer down, and that is the third in the new Carlsberg Hobgoblin series. I think the one I liked the best was the dark one, the stout one, dark arts or something. No, dark stout, wasn't it? The King Goblin I didn't think was as good, and this beer is pretty new anyway. I mean, it's been around a few years, but yeah, I never really got into the kind of IPA, and there is a session IPA version of this as well. But you know me, Jesus, I'm not in a rush to buy that one. Put it that way. This has been your loving Uncle Jonah, drinking beers for your entertainment, and so you don't have to. And hopefully, I have entertained you. If I haven't, thanks for listening to my dulcet tones for so long. And that's got to be worth a like, hasn't it? I'll be back with another beer review real soon. And until then, remember to drink beer because it does make you smarter.